trusted in injustice.
Hi, welcome to Step by Step. If you watched my last video, which was all about what I think are the essential things you need for a biOrb or a similar type of aquarium, and what I said in that video is that I would cover the setting up of a brand new biOrb. So if you saw the other one, you know I've got an existing biOrb, but this is a brand new biOrb. So this is a 30 litre flow. And I also mentioned in my video, an important thing is you've got to think about where you're going to put this, because it's going to weigh about 35 kilos when it's got water in, so it's going to be quite heavy. So the intention of this video is to show you what I do. This channel is about biOrbs, and it's about my biOrbs, and it's about the way I do things to maintain what I have. So I've been lost, like probably a lot of people have, on the internet, going from place to place, people saying one thing and then contradicting, and all this sort of thing. So I'm trying to put everything into a single place, that covers what you need to know really, and at a basic level as well. Trying to get away from confusing discussions and lots of technical, chemical, type sort of discussions, and just really try and bring it down to the basics. So I'm going to set one of these up today. So let's get this out, and I'll show you what's in the box. It's all straightforward. There's nothing overly complicated. You have your biOrb, and at the bottom of the box you'll have another box that's got other things that you need to go in here. So I'll get this out, I'll get the other stuff out as well. Try to. Not easy when you're sitting down. So you get another box inside the box. So this is as I said, this is a 30 litre flow. And there you go. So that's what they sort of look like. I prefer the white ones, suits my home better than a black one would, but I do like the black ones as well. So this is, yeah. So there you go. So that's the aquarium. Okay, so I'll need to talk about some very basics. It comes with a tube, which is for the airflow through the central component here, the central filter system. So this is the way that the water gets oxygenated via this pipe. On the top, you have a lid here, and that's for the lighting, which has another wire as well. So that's another thing. I mentioned the last time, you might think you might need an extension lead. That's probably true. So the lid goes on the top, the wire stays out, and that's the lighting. I'm just using standard lighting on this. I do have the MCR lighting on the other one, which I don't tend to use, to be really, really honest. I think for the most part, I use the white light. I mean, occasionally I do it, and my kids mess around with it, which I'm sure the fish don't overly like. But so I just decided to go for a white LED, and they're cheaper anyway. Okay, so what's in the box? Right, you get a biOrb air pump. So this will go on to the end of this pipe here. Again, it plugs into the mains. You get a pack that has the mechanical filter. This is the mechanical component. To a large extent, this is the mechanical component of the filtration in the biOrb. So you get like a sponge here, and you also get at the bottoms some activated carbon. That's what that is. Now, activated carbon is a useful thing to have. It takes out things. It doesn't take out ammonia or those sorts of harmful things, but it does take out other things to keep the water clear, in effect. So you need to put that in. What else do you get? That's to go in the mains. So that will have two little sort of plug-in areas here. One for the air pump, the other one for the LED lighting. So that's what they plug in. So it only needs a single point, which is good. Then you get some other stuff, some freebies from biOrb. I'm not going to be using these, to be honest. I know what I like, and I know what I know what I get along with, and also my fish. So I'm going to use that. And you'll also get 2 bags of ceramic media. Now, okay, so let's talk a bit about chemistry and how this operates. They all have a very basic sort of system, which is a central area down the middle here, which is forms the mechanical part of the filtration system. But it's also the place where the air that goes into the aquarium and keeps the water oxygenated sort of goes through. So when you get a brand new biOrb, you'll have this pipe, and it will be linked already, connected. So that's for the air. If you wonder what one of these is, some people are like, what the hell is that? This is a one-way valve, basically. So you have an air pump that looks something like this. I'll get it out. There you go. That's the air pump for the biOrb. And the air pump goes onto this pipe, into there, like that. So, and then that connects to the mains. So the whole idea about this little thing is, if water does come back down this pipe, this is a one-way valve, so it doesn't go into this component here, the electrical component. So that's what that is, if you wonder what it is. So this is the air pump that provides the oxygen needed for the aquarium, and it blows oxygen, air, up that central sort of part. In the middle there's an air stone. I'm going to take the lid off. There's an air stone in the centre, you'll see it. Let's take it out. There you go. So that just unscrews, okay? And then inside here, there you have what's called an air stone, and that makes all the that makes all sort of lots of bubbles, sort of basically, rather than large sort of bubbles. So it makes small bubbles. So it's important for the aquarium. The other thing, and it's quite an important thing in terms of the biology or the water quality, is this material here. So this is ceramic media, as biOrb sort of call it, and this forms the biological filter of the aquarium. So you have a mechanical filter, and you have what will end up being, at the moment it hasn't got any bacteria, but this will be the place where all bacteria lives, and this is your helpful bacteria. Without your helpful bacteria, you don't really have an aquarium, and you certainly don't have one with fish in. So this is why this is very sort of an important sort of part of how this works. biOrbs are quite sort of unique, reasonably unique in how they deal with this and how they work. So you need to prepare this before you put it into the aquarium. You need to set up this, which we will do through this sort of video. We need to wash this and get rid of sort of dust. There'll be a lot of sort of dust and sort of finer particles that we're going to try and get rid of. So we're going to thoroughly clean this, and I'll show you how to clean it, because it's not just, I don't feel it's just a case of running under a tap water. So I'll show you what I would do. So I'm going to do that as well. So the other thing I mentioned is, on this tank I've also decided to go with a heater again. So for numerous reasons, and I'll talk about those in another video. So I've got a heater as well that plugs in. It's this version of the biOrb heaters. They do 2 types basically, but this is the intelligent heater. As I've said previously, I prefer this because you can sort of hide it out of the way far more than the other type of heater they do. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to fill this up with treated water, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to just go through all the different steps I'm going to do. And the one thing I'm not going to do today, and I'm not going to do it for a few days, maybe a couple of days, is I won't be putting any fish into this aquarium. I am planning to use a product that will help to speed up what's called cycling, and that's cycling is all about developing the helpful sort of bacteria, the beneficial bacteria, and what they're important for is that the fish themselves, they produce ammonia, and ammonia is harmful to the fish themselves, even at a low level. So what you need are two types of bacteria. So the first type takes ammonia and it converts that ammonia to a substance or a chemical, if you like, called nitrite. Now, nitrite itself is also harmful to fish. So you've got one type of bacteria converts it from ammonia to nitrite. Then you have another type of bacteria that then converts nitrite to nitrate. And nitrate, at a reasonable level, is not that harmful for fish. Obviously, it peaks because, and this is the whole reason why you do water changes, is to keep on top of the levels of nitrates. So water changes largely, unless you've got some really big problems, are all about lowering your nitrate level, because, as I said, at a low level, it doesn't have an impact on the fish. But as that level gets higher and higher and higher, around about, it depends on the fish type as well. But anywhere like 40 parts per million or 50 parts per million, you're starting to get into an area where there is a consequence to the fish. So you need to keep changing your water and lowering the amount of nitrate. So the beneficial bacteria are really, really important. As I said, if you, by mistake, put tap water into your aquarium, not only will you have an impact on the fish, but you will also have an impact on your beneficial bacteria as well. And there's a thing called new tank syndrome, which is almost like, in other words, you're turning the tank back to almost being a brand new tank with almost start again. So you've really got to look after your bacteria, almost more than you do your fish, strange as it may sound. So anyway, so we'll do what's necessary for those. In the other video I mentioned the essentials. I told you that I used these bottles, which I really like because this is a 5 litre bottle. I mark it where 5 litres is, just to top up, exactly where 5 litres is. And I also just put the temperature. So there was once I forgot the temperature and I thought it was 27.5. I slightly changed the numbers round. I mean, luckily it didn't have an impact that much on the fish, but I know that my other aquarium is 25.7 on nearly almost all the time. So with a heated tank, it's fairly stable. So I put that on there so I do not forget what the water temperature needs to be that I'm returning back into the aquarium. Now this stuff here, Aquasafe is what I use. There are other products. I like Aquasafe because it's not overly concentrated. So for a small tank like this, you're not getting into the tiny little drops that you might need on some of the other sort of products. So this is 2.5 mil of this that you put into 5 litres of tap water. Okay, so I've worked out that's what I need for every bottle, 2.5 mil of this stuff here. And that makes tap water safe. That's what it says on the bottle. That's what it does. It does do that. And it also has anti-stress compounds in there as well. So it's looking after your fish in other ways as well. But that is a very important thing to put into your water before you put it into here. So we'll need to use that. Need to use that today. You'll need something to measure. I've talked about these pipettes, and I went on about this, but you will definitely need to have something a bit later on, you know, when we're moving towards, you know, the putting in the fish stage and sort of monitoring that. But you will need something. You will need something quite good, I believe, to test your water. So this is a fairly good sort of water tester. See my other video on that. I mentioned that I'll be using Colony, another product. I'm not here to sell products, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be using Colony. That will allow me to put fish into the aquarium fairly quickly compared to how you might traditionally do a cycle of an aquarium from scratch, and that can take weeks. It can take months. It depends on a whole range of factors. But Colony is a sort of a faster fix because it's full of beneficial bacteria. So you're priming the aquarium with beneficial bacteria. You're not spending ages, you know, to watch it develop. So we'll be using that. I won't be using it today either. I'm just going to largely put treated tap water in here, and I'm just going to leave it to run. I'm going to get all the heating. I'm just going to make sure it's all working sort of properly. Even if I will not be getting fish today, so I will not be putting this product in. It's probably not important at this stage, but you will need to get a digital thermometer, which is this one here. These are really, really cheap, and so basically it's quite useful that biOrb's got a hole on the top, because you can just dip that straight into your water and give it a couple, 30 seconds, and it will give you your reading. But what I'm going to do really to stop the heater, where the heater's gone there, the heater. I'm just going to slightly warm the water I'm going to put in here. I'm just going to put it in at the temperature that I put into the aquarium, the other aquarium. So around about 25, 26 degrees. I'm going to heat the water. There's not going to be any fish in here. There's not going to be any chemicals for the start of adding fish. But I'm just going to take, if you like, I'm sure the heater won't get stressed, but I'll say take the stress out of the heater so it doesn't overwork, have to bring cold water temperature up to I'm going to help it. And the other thing you'll need is a bucket. I talked about buckets as being an essential thing, so here's my famous bucket, and I'm going to be using this to clean this stuff, which I'm also going to treat with this stuff as well. So I'm going to make sure that there's no elements of sort of tap water, the bad stuff in tap water, I'm going to control here, even at this stage without the fish. So that leads us only to one thing really, and that's sort of setting up now this aquarium. So that's what we'll do next. Okay, so I've taken all the plastic off, and I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to put the all this component of the aquarium in. The air stone, this white thing I mentioned, is already in place. That's fine. So in terms of the, I mentioned the material that's in the filter system. There it is here. So this is biOrb zone on. It's basically a range of things that that help to absorb sort of chemicals and a range of other things. And you need to top this up. Probably change it maybe once a month, something like that. You can get the biOrb one. You can do your own thing, as well. And a little filter just goes on the top, like that. The sponge filter. Then this component goes in. Not easy doing it when you've got one camera in one hand. So so this just screws on the bottom like that. You'll feel it lock, and that's now locked. So that can now go into the aquarium straight through. You can see down there, and again same thing. You twist it to lock it. Just give it a pull, and it's in place. So that is all you need to do. That is very, very easy, really. That's not a very difficult job. But when you maintain it, this is what you'll do. You'll put your hand in a full aquarium full of fish, and you'll take this out, and you can do your cleaning, and you can do your replacement and put it back in afterwards, like that. And there you are. It's all sorted. So that's all straightforward.